In 1912, the government decreed obligatory military service. My brother Enrique had just turned 18, and he was facing conscription. He came to my mother. I was there. The scene is stamped in my memory. My son, she told Enrique, you do not have to kill, and nobody has to kill you. You were not born to be killed or to kill. Go away. Leave the country. So Enrique fled. He went to Argentina. I think that if all the mothers in the world would tell their sons, you were not born to be killers or to be killed in war, do not fight, there will be no more wars. I was in Paris when the war broke out, the city went berserk. One would have thought that there might be some awareness of the terrible calamity that had overtaken the country. But no, on the contrary, there was a wildly festive mood. Bands playing martial music, flags hanging from the windows, bombastic speeches about glory and patriotism. What a macabre masquerade. Who knows how many of those young men who parade smiling through the streets of Paris died in the muddy blood trenches and came home crippled for life. In the days that followed, as one nation after drawn into the frightful slaughter, one felt that civilization itself had turned backwards. Every man's value was perverted. Violence was enshrined. Savagery replaced rationality. The man who killed the largest number of his fellow men was the greatest hero. All of man's creativity, genius, all knowledge, science, invention was all concentrated on producing death and destruction. Sometimes I felt overwhelmed by the horror and hopelessness. For me, the life of a child is worth more than all the music that I can make. But in the midst of war's madness, it was perhaps mainly through music that I maintained my sanity. Music remained for me the affirmation of the beauty man is capable of producing. Yes, man who was now causing such havoc and agony. Perhaps at such time, when evil and ugliness is rampant, it is more important than ever to cherish what is noble in man. During the war, I felt it all more necessary to play the works of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart, which so exemplifies the human spirit and the brotherhood of man. In every style and feeling of Bach is jubilance. The music of Bach is everything we desire in life.
After World War I, Casals knew that the time had come to return to Catalonia. He entered into one of the most fruitful phases of his career. Because Barcelona did not have a first-class orchestra, he started one of his own. He paid the musicians a living wage, which was unheard of at the time. Conducting the orchestra was in some way even more rewarding for him than playing, because he suffered from terrible stage fright. This orchestra was more successful than anyone had ever expected it to be, but Casals was disturbed that his music reached too limited an audience. Because working people could not afford to buy the concert ticket. With Casals' encouragement, a working man's concert association was formed. Working people with a low income could pay a small fee to join. And the Orchestra Pau Casals performed 6 concerts a year for them. The association grew at an amazing rate, with branches springing up all over Catalonia. On Casals' suggestion, the association began publishing its own music periodical, written by its members. And within a few years, the organization had its own music library and music school, which Casals and his brother Enrique helped establish. The association formed its own orchestra, composed entirely of workers, and gave concerts on Sundays in Barcelona and other industrial cities in Catalonia, sometimes performing in hospitals and prisons. And in 1931, the Spanish Republic was born, a true democracy. It was a time of jubilation for the people. They had lived under a monarchy in which hunger and illiteracy had been rampant. But the Republic was finally voted in, and it was a democracy. Thousands of schools were built, artists and teachers flourished, a veritable cultural renaissance took place. But this was not to last. Led by Francisco Franco and encouraged by Hitler and Mussolini, there was an uprising against the democratic government that resulted in the Spanish Civil War.
No musical undertaking has ever given me greater happiness than the accomplishments of the Workingsmen Concert Association. Those shouts of the working people of Barcelona, I think, meant more to me than any applause that I had ever received. I am no historian, no statesman. I am a musician. The only weapon I ever had are my cello and my conducting baton. And during the Civil War, I used them as best as I could to support the cause which I believe, the cause of freedom and democracy.